Something unprecedented is happening in software development, and it has nothing to do with congressional hearings or classified programs, though the secrecy around competitive benchmarks might feel familiar to this audience. 3 AI coding tools are battling for dominance in a market that barely existed 18 months ago. Cursor, Windsurf, Claude Code. Each represents a fundamentally different philosophy about how humans and artificial intelligence should build software together. The stakes are enormous. Goldman Sachs estimated in early 2025 that AI-assisted coding tools could impact a market worth over $60 billion annually. Andreessen Horowitz reported that AI coding assistants were the fastest-growing software category they'd ever tracked. This isn't a casual product comparison. This is an analysis of 3 divergent architectures for the future of how software gets written, and possibly who gets to write it. Cursor launched in early 2024 as a fork of Visual Studio Code built by Anisphere, a company founded by MIT researchers. By January 2025, it had reportedly crossed 100,000 paying subscribers. By mid-2025, Anisphere was valued at over $9 billion, according to reporting by The Information. The core thesis of Cursor is simple. Take the editor developers already know, VS Code, and saturate it with AI at every layer. Tab completions that predict not just the next line, but the next 20 lines. A CMDK shortcut that lets you describe changes in natural language and watch them materialize. A composer agent mode introduced in late 2024 that can plan and execute multi-file changes autonomously. Cursor supports multiple underlying models: GPT-4o, Claude 3.5 Sonnet, Claude 4 Sonnet, and its own fine-tuned models. This model-agnostic approach is a strategic hedge. As the foundation model landscape shifts, Cursor adapts. Its Pro plan runs $20 per month, with a usage-based tier at $40 called Ultra, introduced in early 2025. The strength is polish. The weakness, according to its critics, is that it can become a black box. When Cursor's agent mode rewrites 4 files simultaneously, you'd better trust it. Windsurf emerged from Codium, a company that originally focused on code autocomplete. In late 2024, they rebranded their IDE as Windsurf and introduced Cascade, an agentic AI system that doesn't just edit code, but reads your entire code base, understands architectural patterns, and proposes changes with full context awareness. The pricing was aggressive. A free tier with substantial capability. A pro tier at $15 per month, undercutting Cursor. In February 2025, OpenAI reportedly acquired Windsurf's technology in a deal worth approximately $3 billion, according to the Wall Street Journal. This acquisition complicated the competitive picture significantly. Before the acquisition news, independent developers on forums like Hacker News and Reddit's R-Programming frequently praised Windsurf's Cascade for feeling more aware of project structure than Cursor's equivalent features. It was particularly strong at onboarding itself to unfamiliar codebases, reading documentation, understanding folder hierarchies, grasping naming conventions. The question now is existential. Under OpenAI's umbrella, does Windsurf remain an independent tool, get absorbed into ChatGPT's ecosystem, or become something else entirely? As of mid-2025, that answer remains unclear. Then there's Claude Code. Released by Anthropic in February 2025 as a research preview and moved to general availability by mid-2025, it takes a radically different approach. There is no graphical IDE, no forked VS Code, no drag-and-drop interface. Claude Code lives in your terminal. You type natural language. It reads your code base, proposes changes, creates files, runs tests, executes Git commands, and handles deployments, all through text interaction in a command line environment. This isn't a product designed to feel friendly. It's designed to feel powerful. Anthropic's own benchmarks, published in their technical documentation, showed Claude Code with Claude 4 Opus achieving a 72.7% score on SWE Bench Verified, a standardized test for real-world software engineering tasks. That number, as of mid-2025, was the highest publicly reported score on that benchmark. The pricing model is fundamentally different too. There's no monthly subscription. You pay for API usage through Anthropic's platform, specifically through a max plan at $100 or $200 per month, giving heavy users the token throughput they need. For a weekend project, you might spend $3. For an intensive sprint, $50. This variability is either liberating or terrifying, depending on your budgeting style. In February 2025, Andrej Karpathy, former head of AI at Tesla and co-founder of OpenAI, posted a now-famous observation. Quote, "There's a new kind of coding I call vibe coding, where you fully give in to the vibes, embrace exponentials, and forget that the code even exists." The term captured something real. A growing number of builders, many without traditional programming backgrounds, were describing complete applications to AI tools in natural language and receiving functional software in return. Not pseudocode, not outlines. Working applications. Each of our three tools handles vibe coding differently. Cursor's Composer Agent mode lets you describe features in a chat panel and watch files populate across your project. It's visual and immediate. Windsurf's Cascade attempts to understand your intent holistically, often asking clarifying questions before generating. Claude Code takes your description and executes, creating files, installing dependencies, running the application, and debugging errors in a single, continuous flow. The dirty secret of vibe coding, according to multiple experienced developers writing on Hacker News throughout early 2025, is that it works remarkably well for prototypes and small applications and becomes increasingly fragile as complexity grows. Let's talk numbers. In standardized benchmarks like SWE Bench Verified, which measures an AI's ability to solve real GitHub issues, Claude Code with Claude 4 Opus leads. Cursor's performance varies by which underlying model users select. When using Claude 4, Sonnet, its scores approach but don't match Claude Code's native integration with the same model family, suggesting that how the tool orchestrates context matters as much as the raw model. Community benchmarks tell a messier story. A widely circulated comparison by developer Simon Willison in early 2025 found that for single-file tasks, all three tools performed comparably. The differentiation emerged in multi-file refactoring, legacy code-based navigation, and long-session coherence. Areas where Claude Code's ability to maintain context across extended terminal sessions gave it measurable advantages. Speed is another axis. Cursor's autocomplete is near instantaneous. It's predicting as you type. Claude Code is slower by nature. You describe, it plans, it executes. Windsurf sits between these extremes. No single tool dominates every category. Here's the honest assessment. Based on 6 months of community feedback, published benchmarks, and developer testimonials. Choose Cursor if you're a professional developer who lives in VS Code, values a polished editing experience, and wants AI assistance woven into your existing workflow. Its ecosystem of extensions, multi-model support, and familiar interface make it the lowest friction option for experienced programmers. The $20 monthly Pro plan is predictable and reasonable. Choose Windsurf if it remains independently available, if you're cost-sensitive and want strong agentic capabilities without the premium price. Its codebase awareness is genuinely impressive, but the OpenAI acquisition introduces real uncertainty about its future direction. Choose Claude Code if you're comfortable in a terminal, want maximum raw capability, prefer pay for what you use pricing, and are building complex projects where context depth matters more than interface polish. It's the most powerful tool here. It's also the least forgiving. The convergence is already beginning. Cursor is adding more agentic capabilities with every release. Claude Code added a VS Code extension, blurring the line between terminal and IDE. The Windsurf acquisition suggests major players believe the standalone AI coding tool is worth billions. Within 12 months, these three distinct philosophies may blend into something none of us fully recognize yet. The percentage of code written primarily by AI, estimated by GitHub in early 2025 at over 40% across its Copilot user base, is climbing fast. The question is no longer whether AI will transform software development. That's settled. The question is whether the developer remains the architect or becomes the editor, reviewing what the machine proposes rather than creating from first principles. These three tools represent three different answers, and right now, in mid-2025, all three answers might be correct.